Hi, welcome out to Unscheduled, the podcast about anything at any time. I'm your host, Zach, along with my co host,
That's me, Hobby.
and welcome out today. So, how you been, Javi?
Pretty good, man. How have you been?
I've been all right. With the whole state of the world, it's still been a little bit boring finding things to do and stuff like that. But, I had something for the first time yesterday, which I want to say I haven't had in maybe 3 months.
What
And
was that?
it was I had pizza for the first time in like 3 months. And I know that doesn't sound like a long time, but considering how I used to eat of like junk food every day,
Hmm.
it was a little weird for me to go back and eat some pizza. So, what ended up happening was like yesterday we have not gone for our groceries yet, so we're probably gonna go do that one of these days in like early morning. But so we ended up ordering pizza yesterday, and I had it, and it's like it. I felt a weird mixture of I missed this, but at the same time I didn't miss it. So it was like this strange experience I had. So I don't know. I don't know if that's been like anything for you in food as of late, but yeah, that was for me. And props to all the delivery people going out there and like risking themselves
I
for
know.
like getting us food because I really appreciate that. Like we ended up leaving them I think like a 20-25% tip
Wow.
after because like we're just like yeah, that you guys are risking your butts out there. So
Yeah, no, I mean that. Well, first props because that's a really generous tip. Like, I know most people are like hesitant to go over like 10%, so that's pretty good. Uh, Honestly, not too much. I mean, we don't eat out too much, but I wouldn't say I feel like I miss it, but at the same time, it still feels kind of like fresh. I mean, I don't know, maybe because like we don't eat pizza, or maybe the pizza wasn't the same for you as it was before. But I think, I mean, honestly, it just feels kind of normal, honestly. But I don't know. That might just be me.
yeah, I mean, I think it's just a matter of preference now because it's interesting. Like I guess some people are eating like less fast food. I guess would be a way to put it. But at the same time, I guess you could say people are eating more TV dinners and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
a little bit of a trade off. But yeah. And then it was also another thing, and I was talking about this with my dad yesterday after we ordered the pizza.
Hmm.
It feels like, and this is nothing to discredit any pizza place or anything. It's just like, it feels like pizza is now a ripoff
Um.
because, and let me finish my sentence on that, and I'll explain why. Because once you've had Costco pizza, and that was the last pizza we've had, and then compared to like how much you pay for like the pizza joint places and for what you get, it really starts feeling like a ripoff to me. So for Costco pizza, you get like what 16-inch slices or something, not 16-inch, like a much bigger slice than regular pizza places, and it's all
Yeah.
$10. But with like Papa John's, Pizza Hut, Domino's, you get like a pizza half that size, and you pay twice as much. Like literally, I think our bill, like excluding the tip and everything, it came out to about like $25. And I was like, if Costco started getting into the delivery game, I feel like they would wipe the floor with the competition.
Oh no. I mean, I 100% agree. Like, I will stand by this. Pizza Hut has one of the best like prepared food that you can really get. Like a pizza from Costco is like easily one of the best value in terms of like what you can get from any like place that sells like I guess technically fast food, but yeah, I mean like you know I mean Costco's a godsend, honestly. I'm just gonna say that. Like,
Oh no, I love Costco. Like if I have the choice, the only reason we didn't get pizza from Costco is because we just weren't gonna go to Costco, especially with like even how much of a hassle it is to go there right now. But it was just like I looked at that. I'm like, I don't. I almost had to question myself. I'm like, why am I ordering from a place like this when Costco exists? And again, I'm not hating on like other pizza joints or anything. I get it. That's their business and everything. But it's like Costco just feels so much more convenient now. And I understand if people don't like Costco pizza, but to me, it's so good. So I don't
Well,
know.
oh
It
yeah.
was just it was pretty funny when I was looking at it. But like I don't know. I guess I haven't been missing fast food as much as I thought I would be, considering the state of the world. Like I thought I would really be craving it. I do want a good burger from like any burger joint place, but I don't know. I haven't been missing it as much as I thought I would.
What would you say is your go-to burger joint?
I feel like it depends on my mood.
Yeah.
If I'm feeling a little more like treat myself burger place, I'll go to Five Guys.
Hmm.
But if I'm feeling more of a like, I'm in the mood for a burger, but I don't want to spend a lot, probably Burger King.
Fair. I
Yeah.
feel like yeah, I feel like Burger King. I don't know if it's just me, but I think Burger King gets an unfair rep. You know what I mean? Like it just like yeah, sure, it's not like as popular as McDonald's, but like it's I'd say it's honestly on par with the quality that McDonald's has, if not better in my opinion.
Yeah, I no, I'm 100% with you on that. Like as much of an unpopular opinion it seems, I would go to Burger King any day of the week over McDonald's. Like hands down. And I don't know, it's just to me Burger King tastes better. And I recognize that both places are fast food joints, but I don't know. I get more. I feel like I get more for how much I pay out of Burger King too.
I actually agree with that, honestly.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's like I'm also not a huge McDonald's fan, to be honest. Like I used to have it a bunch as a kid, and I'll eat it if it's the only thing in the area, but I will never actively go look for a McDonald's.
No, yeah, I agree. I mean, like, there's like almost like I'd say like three McDonald's within like a reasonable like driving distance within me, and like so I mean I guess like it's kind of more convenient, but like you said, like I feel like you really have to go out of your way to go to McDonald's in my opinion. Like it's not just something that like I see it and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll pass by it. Like no, I have to be like I have to like be in the mood for something, you know?
Yeah, even then, it's like for McDonald's, if I'm in the mood for something from McDonald's, it's usually something breakfast wise. Because I will say, they have a pretty good breakfast game.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
Like, I'm not going to deny that. Most places have decent breakfast games. I'll give McDonald's a prop and say, like, their breakfast game is about an 8 out of 10.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, yeah,
yeah, no, I was just going to say, like, I was in DC, like, a couple months back, and I had to be there early in the morning for an appointment I was going to. And there was a McDonald's right around the corner, and I like went in. I wasn't expecting much. Like this McDonald's did not look up to code. The best is the best way to put it. But I ate there
yeah,
and had breakfast, and I was like, wow, even if this place looks like crap, the breakfast game is still good.
yeah. I mean, that sounds about right. I mean, is it? I feel like it's hard for like McDonald's to be bad because I feel like that's much more down to like maybe the employees because like I'm pretty sure McDonald's has it to like a precise science as to like how like their food is prepared and like how it's like prepackaged and all that stuff. So like I feel like it's hard for McDonald's to be bad, if you know what I mean. Like it's much more down to like how it's prepared by actual employees or what your actual tastes are.
I mean, I've had bad McDonald's. Don't get me wrong. Like the
Really?
one by our houses,
Uh-huh.
has it like it's messed up before on some of my orders.
Oh well, yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
mean. Like it's much more about like the employees or your personal taste
yeah.
as opposed to like, it being McDonald's if that makes
Fair.
sense.
I mean, I guess fair, but also, I will say I will never order any quote unquote seafood from McDonald's, like the filet o fish and stuff like that. I've
Yeah.
had it every McDonald's I've been to and had it. It's just turned out terrible. So for me, I'm like, I'm not gonna. It's not worth ordering ever again or trying anything from McDonald's, no matter what it comes with or what sauce or whatever. It's not worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I personally would never order seafood from like a fast food place regardless, to be completely honest.
Yeah,
Especially
that's
one with
fair.
like especially one with like drive-through because like I don't know if it's just the way my brain works or if it's like there's any actual like rationale behind it, but I feel like in a fast food environment, it's so much easier for like, seafood and like, for it to be contaminated or for it just to be improperly handled because like seafood has to be prepared pretty well for it not to be like totally messing up your like stomach and stuff like that. I feel, at least in my experience. So yeah, I generally wouldn't trust anything seafood related to any like fast food place. And honestly, it would take a lot for like McDonald's to like sell anything except for the filet o fish. I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you on there. I will say this though. There was a fast food place I went to out in Virginia, which was I think I'm pretty sure I've seen the commercials here, but it was almost like it sold itself off as like a UK British pub place that was also fast food. And I had some seafood from them, which was the fish and chips, and it actually was pretty good. So I haven't seen it since because we haven't been out to like that area of Virginia in a while. But I would go and eat there a couple times, and I was just like, "Oh, this actually isn't bad." So I gave myself a little more trust on the fast food seafood there.
Was it a Long John Silver's?
I thought it would be a Long John Silver's. That's what I originally thought, but when I went back, it was like a completely different name. But I've seen a few
Really?
of them out in Virginia. I haven't seen them yet here in Maryland, so I'm wondering if it's a local fast food area for them or fast food joint for them.
Yeah, that's interesting because I've never seen like a fast food joint like marketing themselves as like a seafood exclusive apart from Long John Silver's. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder like I wonder maybe that's if that there's a reason behind like why more fast food franchises don't like, get more into seafood because I feel like that's something that like not a lot of companies are doing.
Yeah,
Wendy's,
especially out in this area actually now that I think about it. But it's probably
yeah.
a cost thing, I would guess
Mm,
overall considering how expensive seafood can get. So, I feel like you also have people who aren't getting seafood at fast food, so they don't see it as much of a as an investment to put into their business.
yeah.
So, yeah, I can understand that. But you know, speaking of all this fast food, I've actually been listening to an interesting podcast lately, just because I've been getting into a bunch of podcasts. I say that ironically
Hmm.
as we record ours.
Yeah.
I started getting into this podcast called Face Jam. So it's by one of my favorite content creators, and he and another friend of his are. What they do is every 2 weeks they'll go to a random fast food joint, try a specialty food that like they advertise, and then they give their like instantaneous review of what the food is, and they do it on like a scale of 1 to 100. So it's actually pretty funny and really interesting to listen to. So they've done Papa John's, McDonald's. Let's see, they did Arby's at one point. They also did, I think, Wingstop, and they did. I can't remember if they did Wendy's or not, but they did Taco Bell. I know that, and it's so funny to listen to it. Like you wouldn't think that the podcast should go for like a half hour to an hour off of just
Hmm.
them talking about the food, but it's actually really funny and how much they go off on it. So yeah,
So
if you guys get a chance, listen to Face Jam podcast. It's actually pretty funny and good to listen to.
that's so interesting. Like how you mentioned that they look for like one specific item from like a place. I think like Germantown, like what realistically would you say is like the one thing people would have to eat when they come to Germantown? I feel like for me it might have to be
Local
the
or
beef.
franchise? Because
Like
that's
local I would say
okay.
mostly.
Local. Okay, I'll let you go first on this one.
Well, honestly, I was just gonna say the Dutch because that's just the most
Yeah,
obvious answer for me.
yeah.
Like,
Honestly, so
yeah.
in our town we have a place that is run by they're not entirely Amish. I believe they're Mennonites. Is what they've told. I remember a news article about it a while back, and they cleared up. But they go under the Amish Dutch market,
Hmm.
and they have all this food that they bring up from a different area, or they bring down from an area up in like Pennsylvania,
Yeah,
and
Lancaster.
yeah, and they everything in their store, as far as I understand, is like mostly handmade, and so like their bakery is delicious. So is their So it's like their fried chicken is on point. Like I don't care what you guys bring up in terms of fast food compared to the local place of our Dutch market. They almost beat every single place hands down. I would say. Their potato wedges are pretty good, and then their chicken wings to me are some of the best I've ever had. Really. But yeah, I would say that's a pretty good place to go for locals. Like I've tried to bring some of our friends out here to go and try these places. Like I've our friend Astrid, she came out one day to visit me, and we went to the Dutch market, and she was like, "Damn, I wish I had more money to buy so much stuff here because it was so good."
Yeah, I mean, like, not even just the chicken. Like, there's so much other stuff, like, just in the Dutch market, because, like, within the Dutch market, it's not just, like, one set of Amish, like, like you said, Amish people. I think it's, like, different, like, families and stuff like that, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
yeah.
So they also have, obviously, there's the pretzel stand. I don't know what else to call it. Like, there's a
No, yeah,
type of
it's a
pretzel
pretzel
stand.
stand. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
best way to put it. It's a pretzel stand, even though they
yeah.
sell
And then
more
there's
than pretzels.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so they don't just have a pretzel stand. They also have a bakery where they make coffee cake, cheesecake, donuts. They'll make birthday cakes. There's also
Bunch of pies
I
too.
yeah, yeah. There's also I don't know if creamery is the right word, but there's like a stand that sells ice cream and like
Yeah, no, I think it would be a
next to
creamery. I think that's how they label it in the corner.
yeah,
Because they have like all of that section that's for cheese and milk, and then
yeah,
they
yeah,
have the ice cream at the very end, which honestly, in my opinion, is the best ice cream in like at least the area. Because I haven't had any ice cream that's better than theirs, in my opinion, anyway.
yeah. It's so on point. And then like next to the creamery, there's the butcher shop, and then next to that, obviously there's the King's Barbecue Pit, I think is what it's called.
Yeah, yeah, King's Barbecue Pit, which is where they have the fried chicken, the barbecue ribs, potato wedges, the rolls. Like the dinner rolls, even though you get them for free, you can buy them and they're so good. They're not like King's Hawaiian good, but they're still pretty decent.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Then after that, I think there's the candy shop. There's
Oh
the
yeah, I always forget
produce.
about the candy shop.
Yeah, yeah, and they also have like a but I know you can't eat it. I don't know if you've told people about this yet on the podcast, but I know you can't eat chocolate.
Oh yeah,
But
no, I haven't. Yeah, that's the thing I have. As much as that seems to surprise people and like blow their minds,
yeah,
so for me, what I can't do is I can't eat chocolate. I can smell it. I can touch it. I just can't consume it because then like my stomach decides to pretty much implode on itself and it gets really bad for me. And I still, as much as people have tried to figure out the mystery to it, I still don't know why it's like that. Like I
that's
have
like
no idea.
yeah, that's honestly hope. I mean, but yeah, apart from that, there's a candy store that has like a bunch of different chocolates. Actually, they have like
Yeah,
almost
yeah,
50
I have
different. Like
seen that.
yeah, yeah, and then next to that is the fresh produce market, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, yeah, like it's kind of weirdly across from it, and then like adjacent to the fresh produce is the deli they have, which
Yeah, deli. Yeah,
or yeah, it's half of their deli because they technically have like two delis because they have
yeah, yeah.
like
That's true.
what I like to call the side deli where you have all the side dishes like potato salad, macaroni salad, and a bunch of other things. And then on the
Yeah,
other side of the store, they have the cold cuts and like meats for sandwiches and stuff like that. So it was all around there, and it was just it. I feel like once a person enters the place, it'll look so much better than how we describe.
yeah. Because I didn't even mention the restaurant that's in there. I actually never gone
Right,
there.
right. Yeah, even with all of that, they can still pack in a restaurant. Like it's amazing how much they can pack in there.
Yeah, it's really it's almost scary how efficient they are with their spacing.
Seriously, like
Like
even with the whole like social distancing and 6 foot rule,
yeah,
it is amazing how they've been able to adapt to that.
absolutely. I mean, I've never gone to the restaurant, and like I feel like based on how we're describing it, it sounds like almost like a flea market in terms of like how big it is. But honestly, it's not that big of a space in my opinion, especially with all the stuff that's in there. It's really not that big of a space in my opinion. Like they really like make good use of like everything that's in there. So I
Yeah,
have to give them props for
seriously. Like I was looking at it and I was just like, oh. I'm like thinking about it now and how I look at it. It's like it's seriously efficient how much they can pack into what is a relatively small space. Like any other business probably would not be able to fit as much into it.
I 100% agree. I mean, like, no, yeah, that's 100% dead on. Like,
Yeah,
I
and
feel like,
this is even talking about the area that also has like furniture too, all this handmade furniture.
yeah. I mean, honestly, I don't know why, but like, I'm not saying the quality's bad. It's probably pretty good for them to like have it there, but like, I never think of that place as like my go-to place to think of like, oh, I need some furniture. I'm gonna go to, the Dutch market, I always think
Yeah.
of like IKEA or something. Yeah.
No, I get it. Seriously though, it is it's a little wild. Like I the more I keep thinking about it, I'm like, how are they able to fill so much stuff in that space? And even then they still have a flower shop on top of that too.
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's in that little alcove, but it fits there perfectly.
yeah. I mean, it honestly doesn't even feel like a shop, in my opinion. Like, it feels
Yeah.
like
No, I mean it
it
gets its name. It's called the Dutch Market, and honestly, it fits perfectly because they still. And I'm just realizing this now. They still have a whole spice alcove too.
yeah, yeah. I was gonna bring that up too. They have like a bunch of like grains and spices that they sell too, that I'm assuming is like hand milled. So I mean,
Oh yeah.
honestly, honestly, we're not like a tourist, like we're not like a specific
No, no,
like
no, no.
podcast, but like honestly, if anyone comes out of anything from this episode in particular, I would say visit the Dutch if you have the chance. It's
Yeah,
honestly
that's
one of the it's
that.
it's it's bang for your buck. It's a great experience, and I think you'll be mesmerized by just how much stuff you can actually get in there. You'll lose
Yeah.
all your money, like just saying right
No,
now.
seriously, and it's not a tourist trap by any means. It's just a
Oh
local
no,
place.
yeah,
I'm glad it's not a tourist trap though. I'll say that much. Like I'm glad it's our own little diamond in the rough.
yeah, I agree with that actually. Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
say
Before like I don't know why I completely forgot in the Dutch. I guess it's just cuz I'm so used to it being there and like it
mhm.
being a part of our lives, I almost forget that not every area has this. But
Yeah,
I what I was gonna say was what I was gonna recommend if people ever visited our area to eat some food. I would probably say Pica would be a good place for them to visit if I
yeah,
were to do my choice. So Pica is a Peruvian chicken restaurant that they do carry out. They do in in place sit in dining.
yes, sir.
Obviously you can't do that. Obviously you can't do that. You can't do that right now with the whole how the state of the world is, but usually when you go there it's pretty like it's again a very compact restaurant, kind of like how the Dutch is in a way, but they're still able to make it work weirdly enough.
Yeah,
So
I mean, oh, go ahead.
no, 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 I was gonna say like at least one of the things I would say that's worth going for is one of my favorite dishes, which is known as lomo saltado, which is
Yes.
it's a it is I guess it would be like I don't know what kind of meat cut it is. I want to say it's like fajita, but I don't think that's right. Um,
It's Filipino style, but like,
yeah, I don't know what style it is because it is Peruvian. Um,
yeah,
but
it's
it's a
it's
cut meat with
mhm.
onions and tomatoes, like sliced onion, not pickled tomatoes, but like it's like a big chunk of tomato with sauce, rice, and then all of that is on a bed of French fries, and it is way tastier than you would think. Like you wouldn't think all those things come together to make a good dish, but then when you taste it and see it, it's just beautiful. But like
I
yeah,
100.
that would be the place I would recommend.
Yeah, just to go further on like Pika, it's like I think the great thing about Pika is that it has like it does such a great job of just showing off more food than just the Peruvian chicken. Like it shows off anticuchos, chaufa, other things that I
Oh
think
yeah.
a lot of people don't know outside of Peruvian chicken for like Peruvian food. I was talking with of a Peruvian friend. He said he really likes pica because of that. Like, it's not just Peruvian chicken. It's actually like a bunch of other stuff from Peru that like is actually at least from his opinion, is actually pretty authentic. It's pretty like actually like pretty what am I trying to say? It's pretty like it yeah, it's pretty much authentic to like how they would make it over there. So I thought that was really interesting actually.
Yeah, that's pretty good too. Like, and so for me, I think one of the best things also is that they have, like you said, is a very diverse menu. And so, like, when you go there, it's almost sometimes hard to choose what you want because you can find something new every single time you go. And is kind of circling back to what we were talking about, that would be a place I go for some seafood. Like, their seafood dishes are really on point.
Ceviche, lovely. I love ceviche, man.
I would say they're I'm trying to remember what it's called off the top of my head, but essentially what it is, it's rice with seafood. And it had scallop, shrimp, calamari, uh, and a couple other things. I think it also had mussel, and it
Oh,
was all so good when I had it. Like, it went down so smoothly, and they give you a lot too. Like, the dish, if I remember off the top of my head, was like $15, but they give you so much in that one sitting. So it's like it's totally worth the price.
I absolutely agree with that actually. I mean, and I don't want to start like a like, but I think something that Pika actually does also really well in comparison to other like uh just restaurants in general. I feel
Yeah,
like
yeah.
is that their side dishes are really honestly really incredible. Like
Oh yeah, I
they do
agree.
their vegetables, especially. I feel like a lot of restaurants don't do vegetables good. Weirdly enough, like
No, I
but like
100% agree because most restaurants, I feel like they'll steam it at most and then throw it on a plate. They'll actually
yes,
season and
yes.
like they'll season, they'll marinate, or they'll set up a perfect vegetable side dish for you.
Yeah, and that's honestly kind of sad because like when you just steam vegetables, honestly, it's bland. It doesn't taste good, and people are not going to be inclined to like get an essential like essential nutritional value from a meal. But like when you just do something as simple as like adding like even the lightest bit of like seasoning and actually like not just even steaming it, but maybe like grilling it or frying it, not frying, but like cooking off in the pan,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
make you make the flavor profiles like infinitely better and more enjoyable as opposed to just like water steamed vegetables. So I think that's also something that Pika does really well as opposed to other restaurants, is like they know what side how important sides actually are to the meal.
Yeah, no, seriously, like I think what's also needs to be said is like one of the greatest trademarks they have is probably their, I guess, to translate to English is fried cassava.
Yuca, yeah.
Yeah, so that to me is one of the like best side dishes any Peruvian place can have. But that's how you determine a good quality of a Peruvian restaurant is if they do not have good fried cassava, do not eat there.
Because when the yuca's not good, like there's 100%, you know, 100% chance that anything else is like just not even. I would say go as far to say as subpar, because
Mm-hmm.
like yuca. I'm not saying yuca's easy to make. I've never personally made yuca myself, but I as someone that's like, let's say like a Peruvian chicken enthusiast, if I dare say so myself,
Yeah.
um, um, I can tell what fried cassava is good and which one's not, and I can tell you like when it's not good, it's really not good. Like when it's not prepared well, you notice it immediately.
Oh yeah,
So
and I feel like in a way like it's not a hard thing to make really, like you said, and it's not a hard thing to mess up. So looking at it, I going back almost to the Dutch, there's actually a Peruvian place right next to it. How it's still open is beyond me.
it's awful. Yeah,
Yeah,
go
no,
ahead, go ahead.
it's
But yeah, it's
terrible.
awful.
So we went there opening weekend of it. I wouldn't say it was exactly opening day, but it was opening weekend. And they were like, hey, if you come in today, we give you 15% off your meal. So we're like, sure, why not? We'll try it. We enjoy Peruvian chicken and all that. So we went in and we ordered our food. So for me, I ordered a lomo saltado per usual. My dad ordered like a quarter chicken and some fried cassava. And the moment I bit into the meat there, it was dry and it was tough. And for those of you who have never had lomo saltado, it's not supposed to be either of those. It is supposed to be like very juicy and very soft and chewy. So the moment I bit into that, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so bad and has no flavor." And then my dad, when he got his food, and this is like, keep in mind the thigh and drumstick that he ordered of the quarter chicken. The moment he bit into it, he was like, "This is dry. It has no flavor." And when we were like, "Oh my gosh, how did they mess up like the core essential of a Peruvian restaurant?" And so we ended up not even really finishing our meals, and we threw them out. Like, as bad as I feel for doing that, we didn't even take them home in a doggy bag because we were like, this is just not worth eating. So we had about half a lunch that day. And we just could not bear how bad the food was for us.
I had a similar experience. I didn't go opening weekend. I think I went like maybe a month or two after it opened, but I was like actually I went to do some errands with my mom because she had to do something in that little town square. And she was, like, "Oh, you know what? I don't feel like making lunch. Let's just go get some food around here." And I was like, "Okay." We haven't tried this place. I think it's called like Super Chicken or whatever, the one you're talking about.
I think so. I don't
And
know. I'm not really gonna try and name it too much because
yeah,
it's
it,
still
it
a
doesn't
thing.
it
It's
doesn't
also
deserve to be
like
called
not really in my memory either.
yeah, it doesn't deserve to be called by its name. But anyways, um, but yeah, we had a similar experience. So we went into Super Chicken, we'll call it for now,
Yeah, yeah.
and we ordered. The waitress was kind of rude, but I was like, okay, whatever. She might have had a rough day. And we sat down. I think they actually brought us our food. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's how they do it
I
there.
think that's how they did it for us too. Yeah, I think they brought us
Yeah,
our food.
yeah, they brought us our food. I think I ordered something similar. I ordered a chicken breast, rice and beans, and I think coleslaw, if I'm not mistaken. And then my mom actually ordered this lomo saltado, so a similar experience to yours as
Yeah,
well.
seriously.
Um, and I ate mine. I ate chicken, and I was like, okay, the chicken's not that great, but I can manage it. It's not terrible, but it's definitely not on par with like other stuff I've eaten. But my mom, she really was not having it. She ate the lomo saltado, and she immediately noped out. She was like, nope, we're
Yeah,
not
no,
eating
and
this.
I get that. I get that so much when I had my experience, and it's like the fact that they didn't really improve their quality in like 2 months. Because I get it. Like, maybe okay, opening weekend, you're not going to obviously master everything, but by like
Yeah, I
two
was gonna
months, you
say.
really should be knowing what you're doing.
Yeah, I
So
was gonna say. Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if it'll survive this whole shutdown, but it is not worth getting at all, in my
Mhm.
opinion.
No, I mean, like literally, like even though like the Dutch is only open like 3 days of the week.
Oh yeah, that's
I mean,
another thing
it's
we didn't mention. Yeah, that place is
yeah,
only open 3 days, technically two and a
yeah,
half, because
yeah,
on
because
they're open Thursday, Friday, and then on the Saturday they're open. They're only open from like I think 10 or 11 a.m. to 3 p.m.
yeah. So like they even though they don't have like as much time to generate like their income, they do infinitely better because of just how much well more run they are.
Yeah, honestly,
Like
I really want to know how much money they make, just because they've been here, I think, longer than you and I have lived in this area.
that's crazy to me, but I believe it. Yeah.
Yeah, because
I
I
mean
think
like
they've been around since like two, no, maybe not even 2000. I think like 1995 is when they were around here.
wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, to me, that's just amazing and yet insane at the same time.
Yeah, because like it's like the place is like new looking by any means, but like it feels like it hasn't been around long. I mean, around longer than like I would think it would be. But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, yeah, I
And
mean, it's crazy.
the place is not shiny by any means, I would say. Like, it is not glamorous,
Yeah.
but it's still amazing to go to. Like, on the
Hmm.
outside, it looks very almost humble, I want to say. And then
Hmm.
once you go inside, it's like you get all this stuff thrown at you at once. Like the scents, the food, like the visuals, everything, it kind of comes together. So, like, I don't think I see that place, even with the current situation, because they're still open with the whole coronavirus and everything. They're still
Hmm.
open because they're our food place, obviously, and they're considered essential needs. Like, I think the only area that's not open is the furniture and flower shop.
Yeah.
everything else is still open. Um, I feel like even with this virus, they're going to be surviving for a very long time.
Yeah, because like they have people like you and me that go every weekend. So.
Seriously, like I mean, no, seriously, if I could afford to go there every weekend, I would.
Oh,
Like
100%.
I mean, keep in mind though, like some of their food is just so good, but it's like it's also still sadly like on the greasy and heavier side for some of it. So I really do try to limit myself now on like trying to eat some of their food.
Yeah, because that's the unfortunate thing. Like, I mean, as much as it sucks, in order to make like food taste good, especially the fried like stuff like fried chicken, you do have to kind of lean towards more on the side of like fats and heavy seasoning. So
Yeah.
it's kind of sad, but at the same time, the payoff. I mean, your stomach's not gonna forgive you, but you know your heart's gonna be happy, so it's fine.
Oh yeah. Your soul will be thanking you.
Yeah, there's a reason why they call it soul food. I feel like.
But yeah, I was gonna say I remember right before our state put in the shelter in place, like I say the week before that happened, you and I were gonna go by there, and like this is when they started practicing the social distancing and everything. I
Yeah, I
think it was
remember.
a I
Yeah.
want to say it was a Thursday, which is like the first day of the week they're open, at least in our town. Um, they had it like people were lined down the block to get in and get some food. And I was just like,
No, yeah.
damn, I didn't realize like I didn't truly realize how popular it is. Like I always knew it's a local favorite, but I didn't realize how popular it was until I saw people willing to line up that much.
That's kind of like the crazy thing about it too is like I also didn't realize like I mean honestly sometimes I get kind of jealous like sometimes I feel like oh I wish this were like just for me or like I wish I kind of knew about it like almost like as like a trade secret but like honestly that probably wouldn't be good though because like
Yeah, it
if it
wouldn't
weren't
be able
that
to survive.
yeah exactly like if it weren't that popular it probably wouldn't still be in business because like you said if it weren't that popular I don't think they could afford to only come you know 3 days out of 7 days of the week
Yeah.
you know.
Oh no, they know how much they have a grip on this town. Like they
Yeah.
like even with all the new cafes and stuff opening up around here because our town is like really building as of late.
Hmm.
They got nothing, and I mean nothing on the Dutch market whatsoever. Anyone who lives in this town, like who's at least lived here, I'd say a year, knows how good
Hmm.
it is to go to that place.
Yeah, no, I mean, as much as like, I mean, I'm fine with like, you know, the city, you know, I guess they're trying to build more towards the city. I feel like at least that's the language that they use.
I think they're
But
trying to modernize it a bit, at least. Like they're
mhm,
trying to upscale the area a bit.
yeah, because I mean, Germantown is kind of like an ideal like, you know, it's very convenient to go from here to DC or to Baltimore, at least
Yeah,
like
yeah.
in terms of like,
We're in like this weird middle area where you can effectively drive to both without too much of an
yeah.
issue.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I can understand why they want to like pretty it up and like have maybe implement more like not only just like you know recognizable you know sorts of brands and like restaurants and stuff like that, but ones that are like more appealing to like both of those like sorts of demographics. You know, stuff that will be like appealing to like people that like you know modern sort of very like clean, very upscale sort of sorts of stuff. So like, I mean, I kind of get it, but at the same time, like nothing will ever beat like the authenticity and just like the focus on the actual product as opposed you know with that the Dutch brings. I feel
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with that. And I used to tell people like our town was just more of a pass through town. Like,
like. Hmm.
because at most, really, what was noticeable about our town, like, it's not, I wouldn't say it's small by any means, but when people, I would say, like, when you would pass through, all you really would see is the local, like, fast food areas. There wasn't really any place to go visit or hang out. And then, like, if you were coming from out of town, you just go through here, get the food, and then keep moving on. But now
Yeah,
I would say it's definitely becoming a place that people can, like, really settle down and live here.
yeah, which is both. I mean, I'm not an economist or a homeowner, so I can't say for sure. But I think that is kind of bad for people that want to like look into living here because that also raises like the value of the properties around here. I know that.
Yeah, yeah, I
So
would definitely agree. And
so I
again, this
mean
is
for
us
someone.
not being any economist or like
Oh
real
yeah, no.
realtor or anything like that. I would just know like The only reason I do know is because like I was looking into apartments in this town and stuff, and then just things have
Yeah.
skyrocketed because we've had the local hospital in our area. We have
Hmm.
like 3 to 4 schools within an appropriate distance of people, and then there's also like a we have our own police station and fire department for our town. So like everything just keeps going up in value, and the fact that they keep building in this town is making things like so much more expensive than they used to be.
100%. I agree with that statement. Like, I mean, it's good for the town. Like, obviously, like for people that are already living here, but it's not off-putting. It's probably more attractive actually for people that want to come here. But you have to look at that price and you have to wonder, ooh, is it really worth coming here?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and this is not being like gatekeeper or anything. If people want to come here,
No.
by all means.
Oh yeah,
Like,
no. Oh yeah, no.
I'd
Agreed.
still say we're a pretty sleepy little town, or like again, not
Hmm.
so little. I'd say we're about medium size because I forget how much like on the outskirts of our town is actually really big, even though it's a little bit of like farm country ish. Like once you're headed
Yeah.
towards Poolsville and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. Like, I mean, I technically live in Boyd's, so like when you start driving, like it's wild for me because like I go through like Germantown, like Town Square and stuff like that, and like obviously it's
Yeah,
like pretty busy and stuff like that. But once I'm like driving home, like even once you get past like Ronald the Canare and like all that kind of stuff, it's really crazy how it shifts from being like kind of almost like a pseudo like kind of like big town like downtown. Not really downtown, but kind of that sentiment.
yeah, yeah. No, I get
It
it. I
goes
get it.
and it really goes from that almost to like the outback, kind of in a way. Like it's kind of crazy. Like there's a kind of like
Yeah,
a wild variety of like kind of like this, the landscape.
yeah. It was pretty interesting, really, and it also I forget this at times because I'm so used to it, and also that I haven't been outside my house in like the last 3 months. But we're
Yeah.
also, I think, the second most diverse city in America.
Hmm.
So like that's another aspect that comes to it, and in all forms of diversity too, like both socially, economically, and I guess I feel like I'm forgetting one more, but you get my point.
No,
But
yeah, I
like
get you.
we are extremely diverse in that sense, and then you kind of see it reflected within like everyday life here too.
Yeah, I agree with that. And plus, like, Germantown, actually, I found this really surprising. I was looking at, like, the most populated areas in Maryland, and behind Baltimore, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Rockville. I might be wrong on that. But Germantown is actually the third most populated, like, area in Maryland.
Really? Wow, I actually didn't know that
Yeah.
at all, and I kind of feel like I wouldn't like living here for like more than 10 years now. I feel like I wouldn't know that either. Like I would not feel that at all.
Yeah, no, because I might be wrong. I could I'll confirm that after this show. But
Okay.
I think this area is actually one of the most populated areas in all of Maryland, and I thought that was crazy because like you said, it kind of hits you, it kind of blindsides you like how big Germantown actually is because it's not just like Seneca Valley and Northwest and all that. It's also like technically almost almost on the border of Neilsville. So like
Yeah,
it
yeah.
really
So
is
we
kind of
have
crazy.
like I think we have 4 different other towns slash cities surrounding us.
Hmm.
But like we're still in this weird shape where we are like way we're still really big.
Yeah.
And so it's like I almost for it's really weird. It wasn't until like I would say 5 years ago that I truly determined where the border of our town was between like us and a couple of our neighboring towns. And I was just like, wait, so this we have way more space than I ever expected. And there were some areas that I'm like, I don't even know which part you belong to because you're in this weird mixed blended part of like, is this our town or is this our town?
Hmm.
Like I know where like once we're outside of our town, I know it, but I don't know entirely at all times where our town ends, if that makes any sense.
No, I actually 100% agree with you on that because there are parts of Germantown that I think to myself like, did this came from birth? Like, like
No, yeah,
honestly,
and I
there,
get that
yeah,
so much. And then it's like again,
yeah.
I didn't realize how big our town was until I was headed to Poolsville one day because we were gonna go check out. I think it was some event that they were hosting that we wanted to check out. But it was like, at least according to the GPS map, we were still in Germantown until like we were almost in downtown Poolsville. And I was like, oh my gosh, wow, I didn't realize how big we actually were. And then like the border between like where you are, I think you're also in that weird mesh area between Boyd's and Germantown,
No, yeah, yeah, exactly,
where
yeah.
it's like I always thought you honestly lived in Germantown, but I guess you officially live in Boyd's.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really weird to me too in that aspect.
Yeah, because Northwest is technically in Germantown, but
Yeah,
I'm only like a 15-minute walk from Northwest, and I technically live in Boyd. So
yeah.
I mean that's
I
kind of
mean,
weird. It's yeah.
yeah, I was gonna
Actually,
say
I wanted to say
ignore the weird drawing of like the districts and stuff we have around here. Ignoring that because I don't want to even get into how confusing those are. It's but our town borders in themselves are like vastly, I guess, like difficult to track.
yeah. What I was gonna say is that I was actually talking to a job recruiter, and I put on my resume, obviously that I live in Boyd because technically speaking, I live in Boyd, and the
Yeah,
company
yeah,
was actually based in Rockville. And if you know anything about, how Maryland is, or at least how this area is set up, Boys is not necessarily totally accessible to Rockville if you don't like go through Germantown.
yeah,
Um, so uh, the recruiter called me and they were like, "Hey, we like your resume and stuff like that, but you live in Boys, and obviously we're out here almost by really pretty far out here, so." It's kind of unfortunate, but I don't think we'll be able to hire you unless you relocate. And I was thinking to myself, well, I mean, I technically live in Germantown, but I can't
yeah.
really tell them that. So yeah, I mean but yeah, it honestly is kind of wild how that kind of stuff can kind of like mesh together like that.
Yeah, yeah. And again, this is like I only just recently again say like I found where the borders of our town are. And even then, I feel like they're still very hard to discern because of just how like and this is only from one end to another end. Like cuz we run parallel like along a long line of like other towns too. So it's really weird. But yeah, that's just how it is for this town. I feel like people are just kind of numb to that fact considering like how much there actually is in our area. But yeah, I mean, uh, I don't. I think the weirdest part about this town though is just like how things seem to change from one area to another. Like from one part you can see like this casual fast food usual area, and then like 10 minutes down the road you have a lot more local market food and stuff and local area joints. But yeah, it's just it's been a lot to look at. So I don't know. Like it's still pretty cool. What would you argue is like our most notable landmark though for our town?
Hmm, that's pretty interesting. I think the area that probably gets the most traffic outside of, probably that I just don't even know what it's called. That's how out of touch I am with but like, the area of the library and stuff like that.
I don't think it
Um,
really has a name now that I think about it. All I've
yeah,
known is like the Black Rock Center.
yeah, yeah. So like, I mean, honestly, but like outside of that, I would probably say actually the Maryland Soccerplex. I think actually because, while it's technically actually I don't know if it's actually technically in Germantown or Boys. I think it's still Germantown, but the Maryland Soccerplex actually it generates actually millions of dollars of revenue for the state of Maryland, and they get thousands of visitors like every year.
Yeah,
And the
seriously.
reason I
And
yeah yeah
no, no, no.
but
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, and so they actually like they're not directly partnered with like the hotels, like that hotel by Senor Tequila's or anything like that, but they actually are actually what am I trying to say? They actually are connected to a lot of the businesses inside of the deeper part of Germantown because they generate so much income just for those businesses as well for people that are coming from out of state and stuff like that. So I would say for Germantown, honestly, I think the Maryland Soccerplex as a fixture itself is probably one of the biggest places, biggest at least the biggest landmark here
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Really, like that's the most notable landmark, and it's technically shared between two cities because again, it's officially in Boyd's, but it's called the Germantown Soccerplex.
Hmm.
So, and its name is now I feel like almost a little misleading because there are so many more sports there than just soccer. Like they
Yeah,
do, as I think to all the sports I've seen them officially do, they do soccer obviously, swimming, golf, American football, uh, baseball, and I feel like I'm forgetting. Oh, they also do volleyball and
yeah,
tennis, I believe.
hmm
Like those are all the
yeah.
sports I can think of off the top of my head, and I think they might have a cycling program too, or they had one. I'm not sure.
Mm. I don't know about the cycling program, but I do know inside of the actually it's funny because it used to be called the Discovery Sports Center. You know that a huge indoor facility. It's now being called the American Healthcare Fieldhouse.
Hmm.
And yeah, because they got the partnership from the Adventist Healthcare. Sorry, Adventist Healthcare.
Gotcha. Okay.
Um, yeah, and they actually do basketball, in there as well. They do basketball, indoor soccer. They do youth programs, and then they on the turf fields they do lacrosse. So, and I think they also do ultimate frisbee, if I'm not mistaken, as well. So, I mean, honestly, it's a lot of stuff that they actually do in terms of sports.
Yeah, they've also been building on it for like the last couple years, if I remember. Like they have not finished construction around there. Last time I checked.
Yeah, they built a new field. Actually, there used to be like nothing there, but they actually built a new field. Like if you're coming from like actually no, if you're just coming into the Maryland Soccerplex, before there was like this little area that was just like a grassy patch where like teams would warm up and stuff like that. But they actually built a new field on
Yeah.
that.
Oh,
And yeah,
I think they also play cricket there, if I remember, because I think they play cricket by the entrance.
I've never actually seen that. I mean, that might be like, are you thinking of like a family that plays there or like official
No, no, I
tournament?
think like or I don't know if it was a league, but like back when you and I played under the league there,
Uh-huh.
I remember like for the Saturday morning games we would go, I would see a whole setup of cricket. Like and again, I don't know if this was a league or if this was people casually playing or something, but I remember like right by the entrance to get in, there was like a field set up for people to play cricket, or at least they had set it up to play cricket.
Mm. Wow. Honestly, I had no idea about that. So I mean, that's just like another like facet of like the soccerplex. Like honestly, it's well suited for basically any sport. I feel like, except for like monster truck derbies. But I mean, like,
I feel
uh,
like they could make it work
no,
if
yeah,
they
that's the
actually
thing too. Like,
tried. I feel like
no,
they
yeah,
would
if
make
they
it
wanted,
work.
yeah, if they wanted to, they could probably make it work. Like instead of like the professional grade soccer field they have, like the stadium, they could probably like lay down some tarp and they could just go to town on
Yeah,
them. Like,
I'm pretty sure some schools, like local schools in the area, have come there to do like cross country and stuff too.
yeah, you're right. Yeah.
But I mean, it's just a lot that can be done there. Um, and again, it's amazing how big it is because from the appearance, you wouldn't think like just the outside appearance of it, you wouldn't think it's that big. But once you go past the gate to get inside,
Mhm.
it's way bigger than it actually looks.
Yeah, no, there's a reason why it's called complex. Like they have, just to put in perspective for our listeners, there's
Mm-hmm.
24 soccer fields. Okay, there's 24 soccer fields. There's the indoor, facility that they use as their office, and also as like an indoor facility for basketball. Different seasons, it changes by season,
Oh
so
yeah,
they're
they
not,
do have basketball too. There's another sport they have.
yeah, they don't do basketball and soccer simultaneously, but they do it by season. So in the winter, no, sorry, in spring and summer in the indoor facility, they host basketball and volleyball camps and tournaments. But during the winter specifically, they host soccer. So that's what they do with that. And then they also have, as you mentioned, they have a golf course. They have the golf course. They also have the swimming facility. They have a little like park. They have like a little like mini golf and like water park for like kids and stuff like that.
Oh
And
yeah, I
then
forgot about that area.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, I actually never been there. Actually, I might have been, but I might have been too little. But and then on top of that, just outside of, I don't necessarily consider it the Marin Soccerplex, but just outside of that, you mentioned the baseball fields. They also have that and the tennis. Oh yeah, they also have an indoor tennis and outdoor tennis facility as well, on top of like tennis facility outside of it, just outside of it. So I mean, it's honestly ridiculous how much stuff they
Yeah,
have
and
there.
then at the baseball field, which they use for baseball and softball, you also
Hmm.
have the football field right next to it.
Yeah,
Which I'm just like, and that was again another thing I saw constantly played there when we would go for our games. And then on top of that, in the indoor facilities, they have an Olympic-sized swimming pool, as well as
hmm,
another water park right next to that.
yeah,
So, and then I believe they have all Olympic grade high diving stuff too.
yeah. They do actually. Yeah, that stuff is scary. Honestly,
Oh
I could
yeah,
never do
oh yeah.
that.
Like I remember when I think the last time I went to the pool there, specifically, I was like
Uh-huh.
maybe I want to say 14,
Yeah.
and we were looking at it, and I was looking at it with the people we were going to, and we were thinking of going down the high dive, and the first two levels are open to the public on the high dive, which I believe is like 10 meters and 20 meters. Don't quote me on that because it's
Uh-huh.
been a long time and I don't even remember.
Yeah.
But only the first two are open to the public. Then the rest are for like you have to show that you are practicing or know how to do high dives and stuff like that. But I think I tried. I think I was gonna go for the 10 meters, and when I got up there, like it was extremely daunting, and I was like, nope, nope. You know what? I'm good. I'm good. I don't need to do this today. Like I'll do a diving board, sure, but I that high dive, I was like,
Yeah.
nope, I'm out of here.
No, yeah. Like honestly, I'm not gonna lie, like I get scared as hell just reading it. Like and then like when you see people like actually getting up there, I like honestly inside my head, I start praying for them, you know?
Yeah, like I
Like
I will say I believe the highest one is like 100 feet or 100 meters. I don't
uh,
know, but I remember seeing how high that was, and I'm just like I can't do this. No, no way. I'm not doing that. And this
mm,
is like a complex that is used for actual like Olympic athletes and stuff. Like we've had they I know they've posted names of like people they've sent off to go to the Olympics or like Olympic trainees there too. So I'm just like, "Oh, okay, that's cool." But yeah, like that is not something I could ever see myself doing. Like I don't know I don't know what it takes for that to do that, but props to those people who do it cuz for me like I'm already a mess with heights as is. Like I can handle closed heights, open heights I just cannot at all.
yeah, no, I mean like I get scared just like honestly like I remember when I went to the Empire State Building, like I was offered to go up and I was like, no, no way, not happening. Like even if it's like completely safe, like I could never go. And that's also why like I don't go on roller coasters also kind of, not just because of like, you know, the speed, but like when they do like the loop de loop, I'm like, no, yeah, I'm gonna lose my lunch, man, and that's not
Yeah.
gonna happen.
I have a love-hate relationship with roller coasters cuz the entire time I'm in line to get into a roller coaster cuz you know how long those lines are and how ridiculously long they get. I will be like dreading getting onto the roller coaster, be like internally panicking and everything and just be freaking out, and I'm just like, no, I don't want to do this. No, I don't want to do this. Don't make me. And then as soon as I get on and we're done, I have such an adrenaline rush afterwards that I'm like, yeah, I can totally go on again. Let's do it again. And then like as soon as that adrenaline drops, I'm like, wait, why am I saying this? Stop me. Don't make me go again. So yeah,
That
especially
is
like when I used to do my annual trips to King's Dominion, which I haven't done in a little while. But yeah, no, I feel you on that whole roller coaster thing. Like it's a lot to take in at once.
absolutely.
And you know what? I think with that, that's a good place to wrap up for today. So thank you so much to all of our listeners who have stuck with us thus far. And thanks for tuning in for another episode, for our very first official episode of Unscheduled.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. I mean, I wish we could say hopefully you tune in next week, but we don't know when this will come back. It'll just be when we feel like it. So
Yeah, that's the
just
whole
just
point.
yep. So just wait until then, and we hope to see you then.
Yeah, so keep an eye on your notifications, keep an eye on the channel, and this has been Unscheduled. Thanks, guys. Bye.